I invested $14 per day every single day for the past 3 years, and I'm going to show you exactly what that looks like.
Go ahead then.
So before I show you this, the only reason I am able to invest is because I built a lifestyle for myself that I can actually afford, meaning that I have a little bit of extra money every single month that I can put into the stock market, let it sit there and let it create its own money. And if you want to see all the ways that I make extra income, all of that stuff is also on this channel. I also have a community. I'll link to it in the description. If you want personal help from me in the community to build some side hustle income so you can put some money away, come over there and see if it's a fit for you. Okay, so let me clarify. I don't technically do $14 a day. I know, clickbait. Whoa.
Fool this man!
I actually do $100 a week. It automatically comes out of my bank account every week, and that is the way I would recommend most people do it. If you can do a system like Vanguard, for example, that's the system I'm going to show you today, or the brokerage account that I'm going to show you today, they have a way for you to automatically deposit money every single day, every single week, every single month, whatever you want to do. I set it up so every Friday it pulls $100 out of my bank account, and then every Friday it buys a certain amount of shares with that $100. So I don't even have to think about it. It's set it, forget it. If you work for a company that has a 401k, a portion of your paycheck is automatically going into your investments already, and you're just not looking at it. I feel like that's the best way to do it. If you physically have to write out a check or pull money out every single week in order to put it into account, you're going to miss weeks. You're just not going to do it. You're not going to be consistent. So I would highly recommend you find a platform. Most of them will allow you to do this where you can set it and forget it. That's the best way it works. And I am not a financial advisor. I am not your financial advisor. I do not want to tell you what to do. I can only show you what I'm doing. And I prefer to buy things like very simple ETFs, index funds. I don't like to try to guess which companies are going to rise and fall. I like a basket of companies inside of an ETF that I can pay for. Like the S&P 500, for example, is my favorite. That's just what I do. This is just one of my accounts that I started after I quit my corporate job just to trickle a little bit of money in, and I want to show you what it actually looks like over 3 years now of doing that. Okay, so this is my Vanguard dashboard. Like I said, once I quit my corporate job, I wasn't putting tons of money into the stock market anymore, but I still wanted an account where I could just trickle some money in just so that I'm always investing and always pushing towards the future. So I started this account essentially January of 2023, and I've been consistent with it. It's $100 every single Friday, which equals about $14.20 some odd cents every single day, essentially. But every Friday, $100 goes in, and this is essentially what that looked like over the past 3 years. Nice, fun, green graph going all the way up. And if you notice the big dips, and I show this on my monthly earnings reports that I do, how big the dips and troughs and peaks can be. Like if I had logged in right after I started this account and showed it to you right here, I would have been in the negative. My assets would have been worth less than the amount that I put in. That would have been terrifying for most people. But if you zoom out and look at it over 3 years, 5 years, 30 years, that's how you should be investing over 30, 40-year periods. Even though you have these big peaks and troughs, you will eventually have this graph that goes upwards. So let's just look at the actual performance here. 17.10%, which is amazing. That's awesome. And here's one thing that I really had to get my mind around when I first started investing way back in the day, is that you're not losing that money, or you're not taking that money and getting rid of it. It feels like you're spending that money when you take $100 and put it into an investment account. You're not spending it. You're just putting it in a different place rather than leaving it in your pocket or leaving it in your bank account. You just set it over here instead of setting it over here. You still own it. You still have access to it. You're just putting it in a safer place that can actually let it grow, where your bank account pretty much isn't going to let it grow, and you might dip into it because it's so easy to pull out of your bank account. So try to get that kind of notion out of your head that you're losing that money when you invest it. You're just moving it to a different place.
Okay, we get it.
So I take my $100 every week and I move it over to this platform. So essentially over the past 3 years, I have deposited $12,700 of my own money into this account. So instead of letting that $12,000 sit in my bank account, I let it sit over here. And because I let it sit over here into some very boring ETFs over time, now my account has grown to $17,965.90, which essentially means that if I had this $12,000 sitting in my bank account, I would still probably just have the $12,000 in my bank account after 3 years. But because I leave it sit in a brokerage account, I have an extra $5,265.90 added on top of my money. So my money grew by leaving it sit here.
Don't patronize us.
I know this is patronizing, but I'm trying to oversimplify it so you're not afraid to let your money sit in a place where it can make more money. Now let's quickly take a look at this. So let's say I have my $17,965. We'll copy that. I have a compound interest calculator here. I will put a link to this in the description below also if you want to play with this. So my initial holdings, it's that $17,000. Let's say I continue to do $400 a month for the next 10 years, and this does at a 10% rate. So even if it does worse than how it has been doing it, let's calculate that out. So my total then invested is I would have put in $65,000 of my own money, and just by being in the stock market, I would have had an extra $65,000. So I would have essentially doubled the amount of money I have over the next 10 years if I leave it sit in there rather than leave it sit over here and I continue to do my weekly investments. So that's awesome. So I'm 45 now. When I'm 55, I'll have 131,000 in there. Now let's say I continue to do it until I'm 65. So for the next 20 years. So now we're starting to get into some real money, nearly $500,000. So I would have invested 113,000 of my money over 20 years, and because of compound interest, I would have made 323,900, almost $324,000. So my investment would grow to over $400,000. I put in 113,000, I get out 430,000. That's amazing. That's compound interest. And compound interest needs time to make it really, really work well. So if you're 65 and you're watching this, you're going to need maybe more of an initial holding and more monthly input into the stock market to get really impressive numbers. But if you're 18 and you're watching this, if you're 20 years old and you're watching this, please watch some more videos on investing. Start putting some money away, because you're going to have 50 or 60 years worth of this compound interest. And it gets crazy when you extend it out to long periods like that. Let's just do it. Let's just say you're 20 and you're going to wait till you're 80 to take out the money. So that would be 60 years. And let's say you're only willing to put in $100 a week. At the end of that, you're going to be a multi-millionaire, $26 million. You will only have to put in 300,000 of your own money over your life to get out $26 million. Look how powerful that graph becomes when you give it a long enough timeline. So if you're young, please start researching investing. If you come over to the community and you want to talk to me personally about it, I would be happy to tell you everything I know, but I think it's important that you at least look into this stuff. So I hope this was interesting, and if it was, then please do all those things you're supposed to do to help the channel grow, and I'll see you in the next one.
I don't think I'll be coming back.